gap in coverage that we have. Unfortunately, those two alternatives are both owned by the county, and we have reached out to the county to try and see if they would be interested in leasing to us so that we could use an existing structure. And we have submitted correspondence indicating that they are not interested in leasing to us, unfortunately. So that brings us where we are. Another alternative that we looked at was actually on this very property. So there, we are proposing to locate presently in the rear of the property. It's an office building, and in front of that office building in that commercial district, there is a flagpole. And so it was suggested by the county that perhaps we consider replacing that flagpole with another stealth flagpole, which would contain the antennas in just the same way that our proposed pine will. And unfortunately, the landlord was not interested in doing that. And we have submitted correspondence from the landlord indicating that he's not interested in that, and also that there is no there's no room within the existing building to locate equipment within. And so that brings us back to the present location. It was originally proposed to be in the side yard on the side of the building. However, that would have necessitated additional variances, and therefore we, at the town's suggestion, we have relocated it to the rear. Another change that we've made since the application was originally submitted was that the antennas were originally supposed to be supported on a platform that was to have been hidden within the branches. And that platform was about 17 feet per sector across. And the town's suggestion was, hey, why don't you narrow that distance a little bit in order to make the antennas a little bit less obtrusive to somebody who's looking at them up close. And so we explored the possibility. We now have no platform. They're just mounted radially out from the pole, and that distance has been narrowed from 14 feet to 6 feet. We have submitted a visual analysis which includes computer-generated renderings from all over the town that depicts what the facility will look like. And we hope to agree that it will have a relatively minimal aesthetic impact on the area. So that's really that's about the nature of the application. And so at this point, I'd like to yield the floor to the board for discussion and any questions.
Okay. You want to let Mr. Comey have a shot at him first? Should we? Mr. Comey, do you have questions or comments?
Yes, sir, I do. That one working?
Yes.
Good.
Many of the items that the applicant has stated as far as location change, getting rid of setbacks, reducing the scope of the antennas, making the branches fuller, etc., were all responsive to ours or other comments, and yes, they have done all of that. Number two, they have provided information showing a gap in coverage in this area. So there is the need for them to have a facility in that general area. I also agree that the two other facilities that are tall structures, the water tank and the tower, both could be utilized and would provide, in most cases, better coverage than what they're proposing. In the last couple of weeks, there has been some discussions between your building department, the county, so forth, because our concern was that the letters, and there were 2 letters last year sent to the county that were sent to, I believe, the 911 commissioner. I don't know if that's the right title, but that's who they were sent to, inquiring if the county was interested. They weren't responded to. In the last few days, there was discussions going back and forth, and today, and I don't know if the board got it, but we did the 239 response from the county. I don't know if everyone has seen that.
Neil, I get it?
I don't know that I've seen it. Hey,
man with connections.
Perhaps I should read it then. I brought a couple of copies, but I didn't bring enough for every member of the board.
Can you get the attorney one?
Absolutely.
Refer one and then you can read one.
In fact, there is a second letter that was sent that's kind of relevant to it, and I'll give her a copy of that also. Let me just read this, and it's from David Church, the Commissioner of Planning, Orange County Department of Planning, county reply, mandatory review of local planning action per New York State General Municipal Law 239-1, because you're within 500 feet of a highway. It says, comments, the department has received the above referenced special use permit and has determined that the proposed action has the potential to cause negative intermunicipal or countywide impacts. Orange County enjoys the direct benefits of a significant tourist economy and strives to maintain a scenic landscape. The tower, as proposed, will be 80 feet in height and located a few hundred feet from Route 17, one of the county's major thoroughfares, the county's popular heritage trail, and the Audubon Society Wildlife Refuge, awaiting official classification as a special protection water by New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. See attached support letter, and that's the second letter. Undoubtedly, the proposed artificial tower sited in this natural environment will detract from the beauty and appeal of these county amenities. In an effort to beautify the landscape, more and more municipalities direct communication towers to locate in existing structures to avoid any unsightliness, structures such as water towers or village steeples, and continue to be employed by multiple communications providers. We strongly suggest the applicant explore alternate sites or incorporate or camouflage these communication devices. We would also like to note that our department is able to facilitate a direct conversation that may permit future siting of such towers on Orange County property, including within the immediate Goshen area. Please contact us if interested in discussing further. I realize that this doesn't flat out say that the planning organization and the county will allow this to go on their water tank or on their 911 tower, but it certainly implies that there's an interest, at least by the planning commissioner, whether he's the responsible individual or not. I cannot attest to that any more than I can understand how the 911 commissioner is the one that should have got a letter about a water tank. Okay? I just don't know, folks. I can tell you, having visited the site again tonight, that I can sit in my car or stand on the road and look up at both of those facilities, and I do mean up. The applicant has stated, as you heard tonight, both of those would work. It would seem to me that perhaps a little more discussion with the county in terms of the meeting to make sure that whoever the appropriate decision maker is, especially in today's climate where municipal and county governments are looking for funding, that might be appropriate. That's not my decision to make, but based on this document. By the way, the attached document talked about the wildlife trails and the Audubon and so forth and being recognized. I'm not sure that I need to go through and read that one also. But our comments are, we believe that would work, and I do think that that should be given serious consideration. I know that your attorney has spoken with the county and got different answers. Okay? I'm not at all denying that or suggesting that, but this letter, the other thing is, as you know, we have done hundreds of applications in New York State. This is only the second time in all those hundreds of applications have I ever seen a county suggest that a facility could have a detrimental effect. By the way, that other facility, which was up in the town of Plattsburgh, in, I think it's Clinton County, I may be wrong, but it's up there, was never built, folks. So this, and again, I've done literally hundreds of these throughout the state. So I believe that serious consideration would be my recommendation in terms of addressing that further.
Okay.
Thank you.
It sounds like we might have a champion. Don't come back when you do.
Well, I did speak with the county attorney's office.
Microphone? Somebody wants to hear.